This video will show you how to use the basics of Premiere Pro. We're looking for Premiere Pro 2023, so I just searched for it in the search bar. I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and once it's open, I'm going to walk you through all the steps here. First thing, while that's opening, we're going to go to the assignment, and I give you some free resources that you can download. So when you want to download these videos, you just go ahead and click on the video that you want, and then you're just going to click on the download button here. Now, you don't necessarily have to use all of these videos, but it's kind of nice to just have like a little bank of videos ready to go and ready, to download. So I'm going to download the shark and the earth. And then there's also this kind of cool wind chime video I'm going to use too, because it's got some sound to it, and I want to show you how to play around with the sound. So I'm downloading all of those. Looks like Premiere is open. I'm going to click hide here. Now it brings you to a screen like this. We're going to say new project. And here we'll just call it maybe the 90-second film. I'll just call it 90-second, I guess. That works. Here you can find your downloads if you want. Otherwise, if you just want to grab a random video, that's fine, because this is just practice. So I'm going to click create. And it's going to go ahead and just kind of import the video for me. These are just stock videos that Adobe gives us to play around with. So now I'm going to click on this one. I'm just going to press delete on my keyboard. So delete. I'm going to right click on these and just say hide, because I don't need these anymore. So right click hide. Right here is going to be your timeline. This is where you're going to be putting all your videos, still footage, any of that. These are kind of the basic tools. This is like your import bucket over here. Here we have some effects and transitions you can do, some graphics. And then here we have effect controls. Right here is our preview. So that's kind of the layout of the land in Premiere Pro. So I'm going to double click in this blank space down here. Here's where I'm going to find my downloads. Now the thing with Premiere Pro is that you really want to pay attention to where your files are. If you just keep everything in your downloads, that could be problematic. So before I open these, I'm actually going to make a new file. And I'm going to go into, I think I'll just go into my documents. I'm going to right click in the space here. I'm going to say new folder. And I'm going to call this 90-second film, or you can call it short film, whatever you want to call it for the assignment. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to my downloads. I'm going to highlight the ones that I want to copy. I'll hold down Shift so I can copy all of them. I can do Control C on the keyboard. And now I can go back to that folder, wherever I put it. There it is. And now I can just do Control V to paste. There we go. So 3 items are going there. Now in the future, if I download any music or any extra stuff, I want to make sure that I save it in this file folder. And the reason for that is that if anyone ever wiped the downloads or wiped the computer, you'd still be able to access them, and it's all in one place. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and click on, since we're importing all of these, I'm going to click on all of these by just highlighting all of them. I'm holding down Shift on the keyboard and just clicking them all. Now I can say open. And they're going to add right down here. All right, so that's how to import videos or music. You can also do that with music as well. Any kind of special effects, things like that will usually go down there. Now I'm going to start with the sound file. I want to show you how to separate sound from video, because that's one of the biggest issues I think students have as they start out with Premiere Pro. I'll say keep existing settings. Now when I play this, or I press the space bar, ooh, kind of loud, it's got wind chime sounds on it. So we want to get rid of those sounds. And down here, you can see this is the sound part of the video, and then this is the video part. Now, we can't just press delete, because if you press delete, it deletes the whole thing. So we need to separate these two. We need to separate the video from the audio. So we're going to right-click on this, and all we have to do is click unlink. So we're unlinking them. Now they're separate. If I click on the audio, I can press delete, and now that's gone. Now let's say, I'm going to just go back here. Let's say I want to keep the audio, but maybe I want to make it a little bit quieter. It's still unlinked, but I can right click and go to audio gain, and that will allow me to change the sound settings. These are decibels here, so if I bring it down, like I'm just clicking and dragging, you can also type it in. Let's say -15 or so. Now when I press play, it's much more quiet, not nearly as loud as it was. And you can also make things louder that way too. So that's just kind of a quick way to adjust sound. I'm going to delete this. Okay. The other thing too is sometimes the size is off. So if you see like an issue with that, or if it seems like it's, just not working quite right, you can double click on the image here. And we're going to go over to effect controls. If you don't see that, you might just have to click on these 3 dots, but effect controls. And we're going to go to scale, and I'm just going to scale this down a little bit. You see how it's like really filling up. It was like kind of zoomed in. I'm just going to try and get it to fit in there as best as I can. That looks pretty good. So when I press play now, it's silent. There's no sound there, and it fits in my screen. Now let's say I wanted to zoom in though, and I want to make it, crop it basically. I can just double click on it, play around with the scale here, zoom in and out. I can also just move it around, wherever I want it. I can also click and drag, just like free transform in Photoshop. Let's stretch that back out a little bit. There we go. Okay, so that's what you'd have to do if you accidentally took your video in portrait mode instead of landscape. So just FYI, we want to avoid that. Okay, I'm going to actually delete this one, because the next thing we're going to do is the razor blade. I'm going to grab this earth one. This earth doesn't have sound on it. Let's say keep existing settings, so it's just spinning. Let's say I want to chop this video in two, and I'm going to just stretch this out a little bit. These little bars down here just kind of stretch things out. So I'll drag this earth to the beginning here, and then this little bar again just kind of like helps us stay organized. So it zooms in and out right down here. This is the up and down, that's the side to side. So let's say right in the middle of this earth video, at about 19 seconds, I want to chop it in two. I'm going to use the razor blade tool, which is this one right here. So click on the razor blade. And right where my scrubber is, that's a little blue bar here. That's where I'm probably going to click and just, it'll basically highlight for you. Click. And now these are separate files, basically, separate videos that I can click and drag around and move around if I want to. I could delete one of them. I'm going to delete the first part. I'll just press delete on the keyboard, and then I'll maybe just move this back like right there. Now let's say I want to add some titles. I want to add something at the beginning with some text. We have the type tool that you can use for that. If I can find it, I don't know where it went. Let's see here. Okay, so to put text into your work here, we're going to go to graphics and titles, and then new layer, and then text. In the older version, it does have the type tool. I'm not entirely sure where my type tool went, but that's okay. So we'll just click text, and then let's just call this, I don't know, test film or something. And then to move it, we're going to use our move tool here. So it's kind of just the basic tools. You can also resize. And then anytime you want to change the color or the font, you're usually going to find that over in effect control. So I'll kind of go down here. Let's see, there it is. Text right here. I can change the typeface to whatever I want. Just change it quick to something random. I can change the color as well, and the size. A little smaller maybe. Here we go. And then color, let's change it to red. There. Cool. Okay. I can click out of that, and there is my title. Now, when I go ahead and click play, you'll see it doesn't show up until a little bit later, and the reason why is because it's right here. So if I want to move that over, I'm going to get rid of this old text layer. There we go. I can move this around to where I want it. Now when I click play, since there's no video here playing, it's just going to be a black background, so that's fine. There we go. And then if I want it to go away, I can basically highlight the end here and click and drag. And that will allow me to click and drag and adjust. So now it'll only show up in the black background and then go straight to the spinning earth. Now I'm going to just shrink the spinning earth a little bit because it's a little bit too big, I think. There we go. Space. Awesome. Okay, so I have my title. I have my earth. We've already learned the basics of the type tool. The other thing you can use also, I forgot to say, so Essential Graphics over here, if you go to Browse, there are some like templates here that you can use for titles and things. So like if I grab this and bring it over here, I'll just kind of quick show you how that works. Let it load for a minute. There we go. I'll drag it over here. So here it says presents. I can change it. I just double clicked on it. I can change the type here and basically, create a different kind of, I just changed the text by accident. But I can basically change the words here. Oops, it'll let me. There we go. So let's say, I'll just do title here. There you go. Let's make it bigger. There. And that's just like a pre-made one. So you'll see how this works. Ooh, that makes it go bigger. Kind of cool. So it animates it for you, which is just kind of nice to have. Okay. Next thing I'll show you really quick is the green screen. So I'm going to grab that shark, and we're going to make this shark look like it's swimming on top of the earth. Looks like it has an audio file on top, but I'm not going to worry about taking that off because there's no actual sound there. It's just, for whatever reason, audio is showing up there, but it's not actually there. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. We're going to double click again. We're going to scale it down. I can see these dots here too that I can also grab. Whoops, make sure you grab the right one. All right, so the shark is shrunk. This is where you have to be careful that you're selecting the right file. So now we're going to go into our, letting it save. There we go. All right, so we want to do our graphics here. I always forget where this is. There we go, under FX. And we're going to go to video effects, the little arrow here. And we're going to go to keying. And then we're going to go to Ultra Key, and we're going to grab the Ultra Key. We're going to grab it, click and drag, and bring it over to the shark. Okay, basically we want to get rid of the green of the shark. Okay, so this is pretty simple actually. We're going to make sure that shark is selected. We've already dragged Ultra Key over. We're going to go down here and see it. Yep, Ultra Key is there. That looks good. We're going to grab the key color. Okay, so the eyedropper, and we're going to click on the green. And it basically went ahead and got rid of all of the green that it saw in the footage. Now, if we go to settings and play around with like aggressive and that kind of stuff, it'll like make sure that all of the green is really taken care of. Matte generation will do that too. Another thing you can try is you don't even technically have to use green screen. You can use anything with a solid color background, especially something like this. So let me just move the shark over for a minute and I'll show you with this red. Okay, so let's say I want to key the red in, but I want to get rid of the white. I want the earth to be behind it. I can still do Ultra Key to this. Let's go down to Ultra Key, grab the eyedropper and click on the white. Now when I click play, it's there. You can see there's a little bit of white left there, so you might want to choose like aggressive and then play around with the matte generation and matte cleanup and see if you can get rid of that white as much as possible. You can kind of do some adjustments like that. Probably worked much better. Look at that. So it's kind of a cool way you can do special effects, and like I could do an explosion or something and, you know, make it look really cool. And that's just using stock footage. It's pretty simple. So that's a green screen. There's also other video effects you can try, like if you want to blur things, you want to change colors, distort things. Those are all in the right-hand corner. Now, at any point when you do something, you definitely want to just do file save. And when you save, it's going to save as a pproj file or pproject. The last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to just delete that. I'm going to bring the shark back in here, is we're going to do some animation. And to do the animation, I'm just going to show you some basic animating that you can do to make your animation, you know, just, I don't know, a little more interesting. Let me see if I can resize this quick. Make this smaller. There we go. I think I messed up that, whoa. Pressed enter on the keyboard by accident. I messed up the Ultra Key. Let me see here. Output. We don't want color channel. We want the composite. There we go. Okay. So let's say I want this shark to like swim across from start to finish, swim across the earth. So I'm going to scroll up here and we're going to go to motion. And this little stopwatch, this is going to start or stop an animation. So I'm going to click on position and we'll say that it's going to start there and then we're going to have it swim off. Okay. Now, if I extend this out, oops, it will let me. You should be able to see it. I'm not seeing it, but we'll see. Okay. So, position, there we go, it has started. And then I'm going to scroll to where I want it to end. Grab my shark, move it over. You can even see it kind of gives you like a track line. There we go. Okay, it just added my keyframe. You'll be able to see it now when I scroll back. Now I'll click play or spacebar on the keyboard, and there it's swimming away. And it just goes however long, you know, the animation basically is. Super cool. Now you can do that with rotation, scale, anything. So think about zooming in and out. You can do that with scale, with rotation. You can make things look like they're flipping around. You can make things fade in and out by using opacity. You just have to click on the little stopwatch symbol there and then make sure that you have your keyframe. So you can see my keyframe show up here for the shark. Also make sure that you have the right file selected. All right. that is simple animating. The last thing you'll need to do is, I'm going to just save really quick here, whoop, is export. So to export, you're going to do File, Export. Oops, if I can actually get there. Oh my goodness. Okay, File, Export, Media. Pay attention to where it's saving, and then click Export. And that is all.